Alright, so this is my very first video. I'm going to be doing my everyday makeup look. Now, I wear this look pretty often, so to me this is like second nature at this point. So without further ado, I'm just gonna get started because it's gonna be very long either way. Alright, I'm just gonna pull my hair back because it's a real pain when your hair is in the way and you're trying to get your makeup done and then you accidentally like brush your hair onto your face. It's just not good to work with. So I already washed my face and I put my moisturizer on, so now my face feels quite tacky, but then again, I kind of want it to feel that way because I feel like that kind of makes the foundation and everything else on top of that stick a lot better, you know? So first, I'm going to prime, and the primer I'm going to be using is the Maybelline Master Prime and Base Blur plus Redness Control. I've been using this for a little while now, and I really like it because it does make my makeup last for a very long time. When I have bits and redness every now and then on my face, it kind of does clear it up pretty nicely, so that's what I'm going to be using. And to apply that, I'm going to be using my Real Techniques cheek brush. I really like this. It's really good for buffing out stuff like primer, foundation, just all that stuff. So I'm just gonna dot it all over my face, kind of just put it everywhere. This part always looks kind of funny. And so with kind of like buffing, stippling type motions, I'm just gonna blend it out so that it kind of goes everywhere, and yeah, that's that. Alright, now my primer has been buffed to the max, so now it is time to move on to my foundation. The foundation I'm going to be using is my Fenty Beauty Foundation, and I really like this foundation. When I first bought it, not gonna lie, I was really skeptical because I hear that a lot of people who actually like the foundation were had more oily skin tones, and so since I have really dry skin, I was thinking, oh, I'm probably not gonna like it that much, or it's gonna make me look really cakey because it's meant to be super matte. But honestly, I tried it out, and as much as it is a little bit matter than most of my foundations are, it covers very well. It has really nice coverage, and it's very buildable, which I really like. And it is very pale for me. It's in the shade 110. So yeah, it is a little bit pale for me, but then again, I'm literally Casper the Friendly Ghost, so we're just gonna live with that, alright? And I'm just gonna use the same Real Techniques brush. I always end up using a lot of the same brushes for whenever I do my makeup. I don't know if that's really like bad or anything, but they all do the right thing, so I guess it doesn't really matter. I find the best way for the coverage of any type of foundation to be met with without it actually having to have a lot of coverage, if that makes any sort of sense. That probably didn't, is to apply it with more tapping motions rather than just like buffing it in and like moving it like that, because then you're going to end up using a little bit more product, and that's what results usually in that kind of cakey effect, which not a lot of people like. So I definitely found that that works a lot more than just stroking it on. Alright, now it is time to move on to my concealer, because I got veins under my eyes and it's just not a look I'm going for. So I'm going to be using my Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Fairest, because I am the fairest of them all, ha ha ha. And So yeah, I'm just going to apply it under my eyes, which is where you would find my veiny eyelids. Alright, now that I look kind of crazy, I'm gonna blend it out with my Real Techniques, where's the name? I had that upside down. My deluxe crease brush, and obviously it's not being used to blend eyeshadow under my crease at all, but you know what? If, like I said before, if a brush works for another purpose besides its own purpose, why not? Just use it. There are no rules to make up anyways. And I always make sure that when I'm blending my concealer under my eyes that I don't blend it too hard. I want to use very like soft motions, because I remember when I was younger and I used to put under eye concealer on with brushes like these that kind of like it would leave like kind of like circular stamp marks under my eyes, which was not the look I was going for. So I've definitely learned to apply much softer motions. Next up is a little bit of powder, because I don't want my foundation to go anywhere throughout the day, and I want it to set. I want it to set. Did anybody say that? So I am going to... I need to stop touching my shaving light palette, I swear to God. I'm all over the place. Next up, I'm gonna powder my face, cause I don't want my foundation to go anywhere, and plus it's always good to set your foundation in place, cause I don't know, that's just what you do. So I'm going to be using my Rimmel Stay Matte powder. This powder is so amazing. I've been using this since I was in like 8th grade, and it's also very affordable. It's like $4, maybe slightly more than that, but either way, it's just so worth it. You should totally get this powder if you're looking for a powder and you don't want to invest in much. I totally recommend this powder. It's just wonderful. The brush I'm going to be using is the Morphe Y6 brush. I really like this brush for setting in my foundation because I feel like it really like packs it on there, but at the same time, since this brush is kind of more a kabuki brush that's meant to blend foundation, I like how the bristles of the brush are so packed together so that I don't have to take a lot of powder and I can just lightly like use the same tapping motions as if I were applying foundation. And it really works just to get the powder on there to really connect with the foundation. Again, makes zero sense, but I think we all get the idea by now. So for setting under my eyes, I'm going to use my trusty Laura Mercier loose setting powder. I feel like everybody and their mom and their grandma and their next door neighbor's goldfish knows about this. It just sets in that concealer amazingly, and it also doesn't make it cakey, which I absolutely love, because if nobody wants cakey foundation, why would you want cakey concealer? Alright, now that I absolutely have no dimension to my face at all, I am going to apply some bronzer. First I'm going to close my powder because I don't want it to spill everywhere or else I'm going to get beaten. So for bronzer, I'm going to be using my Too Faced Sweethearts bronzer. I love this bronzer so much. I love this packaging, but then again, who doesn't love a good old Too Faced package? And I really like that it's really shimmery and it's got 2 colors, and I don't really pick a specific color. I kind of just like swirl it to get enough of both colors, and I'm just going to, with some stippling motions, apply some of this bronzer on cheeks almost to where I would contour. Also, I do believe that in the summertime, using a bronzer with shimmer is much more efficient than using a bronzer that's matte. And now it is time for some contouring because I still am two-dimensional. Two-dimensional? Is that correct? Two-dimensional? Yeah, two-dimensional. I'm going to use my good old Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. Once again, this is a very much loved product of mine. I've been using this for a very, very long time, and it's just extremely I love pretty much every single color in this palette, and you may be thinking to yourself like, Nicole, when do you ever use this color? I actually use this color for a transitional shade in my crease for when I do most of my everyday eye look. But I do think this is a great contour shade for people with much deeper skin tones, and it is a great transitional brown. But for my contour, I'm going to be using mostly this shade, and I'm going to mix a tiny bit of this shade just for a little bit more color, but I want mostly that ashy look, and that's what I think this color has. Just going to make a kind of pouty fish face. Oh, and I forgot to add, the brush I was using was the Morphe M530. It's really good. Now it is time for some blush, because even though we don't love redness, we still like a little bit of color in our cheeks so that we don't look sick, if you get it. And I don't want people to come up to me being like, "Are you sick? You don't look so good today." And I'd be like, "Wow, you suck," because I'm not sick. I'm just blushless. So the blush I'm going to be using is the Milani Luminoso blush. This blush and I go way back, trust me. This was probably the first blush I ever bought, and it's still one of my favorites of all time. I always go back to using it, and I especially want to use it today because the eye look I'm doing is more of a rosy pink look. So just gonna use a little dab of this blush. The brush I'm gonna be using is the Morphe R14. I really like this brush for applying blush to the apples of my cheeks because I feel like it packs on the product very, very nicely, and it's very easy to blend with it. So yeah, I'm liking how this looks. Alright, now it is time for everyone's favorite or least favorite part, a little bit of some highlight. So I am going to be using the Ofra Nikkitutorials collab highlighter in the shade GlowGoals, and it is a little bit dark. And it is a little bit dark for me, but I feel like I can use it to a point where it's not gonna look super crazy on me. And plus, I do love this shade a lot. I really love this brush because it packs on highlighter super duper well, but also to the point where it's good to control how much highlighter you put on. So I feel like it's good working with the amount of pressure you apply to it. I feel like half the stuff I say makes absolutely no sense, but you know what? It's my first video. Don't come for me. So now I'm going to do my eyebrows. The product I've been using for my eyebrows is something that I never thought I would really, really like, because it's a very weird product. It's by a brand called MusicFlower, and it's the liquid eyebrow pen in the shade 1. I would use this because this has honestly worked wonders for me. Alright, now that I'm kind of shaped and filled in my eyebrows, or at least the bald spots in my eyebrows, because I do have a lot of bald spots in my eyebrows. I am going to use my trusty Benefit. I wish I remembered the name of this because I literally use this product every single day, but the name is completely rubbed off because I use it so often. And I love this product because it's so good for setting your brow hairs in place. And always remember, eyebrows are sisters, not twins. At least. So now I'm going to prime my eyelids because I feel like you cannot do an eye look without eye primer. I cannot stress this enough. Eye primer works wonders for eyeshadow to last a long time. So I'm going to use, surprise, surprise, because every single person in the world uses this, the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer. So I'm just gonna kind of dab it all over my eyelids, and I actually like to put a little bit in my crease, and I happen to use the crease brush again for once for its actual purpose. Kind of its actual purpose, but not really its actual purpose. But hey, using an eye brush for eyes. But like I said, don't follow the rules of makeup. Alright, for my eyeshadow, I pretty much don't go a day in a week that I don't use this palette. It's the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. First, I'm actually going to set my primer. I'm going to use the shade Strange, which is this whitish color, which is this white ivory nude color. And I'm gonna use this brush from BH Cosmetics. Alright, so for my crease color, let me just get my crease brush. For my crease color, or my first crease color at least, I'm going to use this really light pinky mauve shade called Limit. And I find this is a really good transition shade for when I do rose gold type looks. And also the two matte shadows in here blend absolutely wonderful. Nobody's perfect, I'm gonna work it again to get it right. Oh my god, don't put that in. So I'm just going to use kind of circular motions to blend this out, and I don't really have a specific method for shaping my eyes with eyeshadow. My eyes already are pretty defined. Like, as you can see, I have a pretty defined crease because my eyes are more shaped like footballs than baseballs. So I really just put eyeshadow on more as like a fun pop to your makeup more than kind of like shaping, if you get it. For my lid color, I'm going to go back in with this brush that I used to set my primer, and I'm going to use this absolutely beautiful pinky rose gold shade, which is called Burnout, and I'm just gonna dab my brush in there, and I'm going to just pat it all over. Just gonna pat Burnout all over my lids, and I can't get enough of this color. Alright, and now with another BH Cosmetics brush, which is a little bit newer. This brush is really fluffy. It kind of reminds me of this Sigma brush that I used to have. I wish I remembered the name of it, but it was but this is really similar to it, so not that big of a deal. I'm going to add a little bit more depth to my eye, or at least my crease, using this other matte shade called Nooner, which is more of a mauve brown than a pink. I am moving on to mascara. I'm going to be using the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara, and I'm just going to apply this to my lashes. way I like to apply mascara, I just like to kind of blink into the wand and basically just leave the wand to do the job, even though... Okay, so now I'm going to apply my lipstick, or my liquid lipstick, because this is liquid lipstick. I'm going to use my favorite lipstick of all time, which is Koko by Kylie Cosmetics, and this lip product is really, really good. Alright, and now the final step, I'm going to apply some setting spray, because what is a makeup look without setting spray? I'm going to use the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. Okay, so this is my completed makeup look. I love this look so much. It is so me. It's so easy to pull off in a short amount of time. It's very girly. I feel like it represents my girly spirit perfectly because I do love the color pink and everything rose gold. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I cannot wait to film more videos in the future. If you liked this video, you can give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And you can click the little notification bell if you are interested in following me on my YouTube journey. And I hope to see you all soon. Bye!